Hello, everyone. This is Sunday, April the 13th. I'm going to go a little bit into an explanation as of why of the targets that I have selected for this week. I already published the plan. You already got the targets and everything. So let's go a little bit in detail as of why. Okay, so I have selected 4505 as the pivot for this week coming up. We have all five area here. We can see how O5 was support here. It's a little bit of a support here and it broke down, broke above it, and so forth. So it's a lot of activity around that area. Um, so we have here in in fair value gap that hasn't been mitigated. I think it's only needed like about one or two ticks to complete the process of let me take a look at it here. So the low was 0650 and the high here was 0625. So it needed just one tick to fulfill. So this is an area of very much a lot of interest in this area here, if you ask me. So we're looking at an ETH chart. So let me switch over to RTH only. So we're going to look at RTH only hours in here, and we're going to see, a different spectrum. Obviously, it looks totally different in some areas. But the one area I want to highlight is right around here. Um, we talked about gaps, we talked about spikes and so many of those things. So the one thing that I want to point out here is this gap, not this gap, fair value. I'm sorry, this spike, the spike area here. You want to see how the spike in this zone here was resistance during this session here at 10:30 on Thursday, and we had seen the opposite before. We have seen how spikes to the downside are also, a form of support in certain areas. So we're gonna take a look at those market generated piece of information here and find out, what can we take away from that. So O5 is our target, and if our pivot, and if you take a look at target number one, which is in the 32 zone, it would be, pretty much the fulfillment of this fair value gap here that we have in the upside. Uh, the blue areas are fair value gaps or single prints. The grayed out areas are 30-minute opening range areas that are yet to be mitigated, meaning um, yet to be threaded back through it. Uh, so they will stay open until we trade back around into that area. There's areas like here that have been fulfilled. As you can see, it will go away. It won't carry forward if they're fulfilled. We have an area here in which we have a double, basically um a double opening range zone that hasn't been mitigated, and this one was generated on Friday. So this area here potentially is support until proven differently. Um, so we're gonna talk about 05 as our pivot here. Then our first target, and on the upside, like I said, was 32, which is the fulfillment of this fair value gap. Then we're looking at 60. 60 is the bottom of this 30-minute opening range area that hasn't been mitigated, which is also the high of Friday, April the 4th session, right around here in this area. We're also going to be looking at 45.92 as the next target, which is right here. And this is the zone in which we have the low of this day here, which is Friday, the 28th, this area here. And we have the low of the session on Tuesday, also in the same vicinity, 88 to 92. So that area is also resistance in there until proven differently. Had a little bit of confluence with our POC at 4605, and this is from Monday. The week of July 31st, last first week in August. So those are the targets to the upside. Right now, we're one time framing down on the ES, and that will end if we were on the weekly chart. It will end if we were to trade above 45.45. So that's the weekly one time framing. On the downside, what we will have here is that if we break below this area, this is the POC for last week. So one thing I want to highlight is that you can see the value area low in POC here. When you look at this, particular scenario here, you had um, the opposite. POC value area high, and we went down. Not suggesting that we're going up, but we have the opposite in here, POC value area low. So if we were to draw those two areas and you say, okay, well, here we got POC value area low could be a support, POC value area high could be a resistance. So that's the way I want to take a look at it. And you see the extreme here. Obviously, we will handle this on a daily plan if we were to trade above 45.92, which is a T3 to the upside. On the downside, like I was saying, then we have 44.78, which is this area here, our POC for last week. So right now we have a little bit of confluence. We're trading in the lower end of the pivot and the top portion of the T1 on the downside. Number two is 44.56, which is this area here. I have 59. I have 56 on Friday as well. So this is again 130-minute opening range area that hasn't been mitigated. So we'll take a look at that. And then 17. So 17, I think there's a lot of poor structure here. And if we were to break below all this area here, 17 is the low of this session, which happens to be the prior um, the prior 4 week balance halfback zone, which is in the top of this portion here where 44.24 is. 17 is the middle of that. So sometimes you get depending on the hour of the day in which price gets to this area here. If it's towards the end of the day, it might try to get to the middle or the bottom of the zone. If it's early in the session, sometimes you get a support here in this area on the top portion, and it comes back up. But we have, I just want to highlight that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opening ranges that have not being traded through. So those areas are not, mitigated just yet. I'm not suggesting that we're going that way. On the upside, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, and we got 4, from what I can tell. So we have some references on the downside and in the upside, but just want to keep an eye on this area as an extreme low. Um, for next week. And then you want to keep an eye on this area here where we have a previous gap. Obviously, a gap fill would be 45.88, which is a confluence with our 45.92 zone. So, keep an eye on those areas, and hopefully we have a good week. Take care.